Welcome, everyone. This is Pilot Niels, and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and hear LOTRO players. And this week we have with us Krister
Hello.
and Cinders.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And this week we had another patch, update 39.1. So this is a small one where they have updated loot boxes. That's right. Adventurers and Travelers Steelbound loot boxes now contain Silent Hunter cosmetic items, including Avatar cosmetics, a steed, and matching War Steed appearances, a Sitaka cosmetic pet, plus new housing items, including a Silent Hunter tapestry and pelt. And these items are also available on Myrtle Mint of 4 Figments of Splendor. Adventurers and Travelers Steelbound loot boxes will also now contain Silent Hunter cloaks, a Silent Hunter mask, and Silent Hunter garden perch and settee housing decorations, which will not be available through Myrtle Mint. And as for news and items, for the Lore Master, players are no longer able to use bear taunts in 6 or 12 player instances.
Boo.
Now, I am trying to figure out whether this is A, because they thought it was too powerful, or B, because tanks were complaining that bears were stealing the aggro from them.
I would say it's probably, just from experience having had them, it's probably to nerf it more than tanks complaining.
Okay, just wanting to know about that.
That's exactly what a complaining tank would say.
This tank does not complain about things stealing the aggro unless it's a hunter.
Oh, I used to complain about a bear stealing aggro, and that was Finn's bear, Lucky, who was upstaged to be in raids.
Well, Lucky,
but they got him.
Special case.
They took his ability to be aggressive away.
I might have been the lore master who was trying to get a bear as powerful as Lucky at one point. So, with my other alt,
a good goal.
With my other alt being lore master, I see no downsides to having a bear that can draw aggro when you need it to. But also, yeah.
Well, if you want to do it, you have to do it in a 3 or smaller group.
I know. It's okay. Cinders is still sitting at 122, so I've got a little while before I have to worry too much about it.
Okay. Then let's head into item changes. Several new instance rewards used in crafting recipes should now correctly be able to be placed into crafting carryalls, such as pieces of petrified driftwood, iridescent jets, crackling opals, effervescent moonstones, and flaming zircons. Certain items designed to catch players up to specific level cap content will now grant reduced statistical bonuses once your character has advanced beyond the designed catch-up level. These items will remain available for use, but apply a diminished statistical benefit at the level cap when experience or current bonuses end. The Shield of the Hammerhand, the Earring of the Dead City, the Empowered Earring of the High Elves, the Focusing Earring of the High Elves, the Weightless Earring of the High Elves, Fateful Gunvad Earring, Flowing Silverstone of the Tortoise, and the Fleet Merchant's Earring. The Daggerlad Waist frame, granting item received from the Legendary Items Reward Track Season 9 has been corrected so that it binds to the account. So those are the item changes. The big one being the catch-up items, well, the little tweak that they did on that. Now for quests and adventure areas, and this is where we have most of our changes for this update. For the arena, a number of skills and effects have had their damage tuned slightly. Some up, but mostly down. Boss damage, especially from Ulanor and Rothog, was a bit higher than we'd like for the Tier 3 version of the instance. Crowd work puddles have been adjusted slightly and should now give more balanced effects. For Ulanor, reduced the initial and dot damage of hemorrhage. The hemorrhage bleed now falls off in potency much more dramatically as it tears down. Reduce the initial damage of Inferno and fixed an AoE targeting of hemorrhage. Yes. Akhmar Redstorm will now correctly use Bastion of Light. All bosses have had their damage reduced by 5 to 10%, had their health increased by 10%, and had their movement speed increased. Nakrov no longer chains his horn abilities one after the other. So a little change to some of the bosses that you have in the arena. For the Isle of Storms, ground effects of boss fights now clean up when the fight ends. That's good. The deadly cyclone is now less likely to follow non-main threat targets. The intoxication effects in the second boss fight can no longer stack. Ventral Mariners no longer cause the 8 boss to enrage to wrap around. The 8 boss now kills Mariners faster if they are the only targets remaining.
Hooray!
I thought Krista would like that one. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. The 8 boss's spitting swipe now properly hits players. The crocodile boss no longer conceals septic cloud in the main target as if the main target moves away from it. Oh, cancels. No longer cancels septic cloud's main target moves away from it. Oh boy, I wish they would cancel that one, but that's another matter.
It would be nice if it got canceled.
Yes. Fire barrels now do considerably more damage over time, and the Metadeed now properly bestows. For the streets of Rahalbach, Kasyap now moves more quickly. Several Jafal bombers are now more likely to throw fire on people below. I know that's the last thing we needed there.
I was like, if there was a problem, they weren't throwing enough fire.
Jafal lookouts now use their call for reinforcement skill only once.
That is helpful if your character does not do very much DPS.
The initial cooldown for Jafal lookouts call for reinforcement skill has been increased. The Jafal volley and fire pot skills now pulse every 2 seconds instead of every 3 seconds. And Utho, the Grasper, now plays the stagger attack skill correctly on targets not within melee range. As for the depths of Makhta Corbo, Ushuru's thunderous roar no longer bobs Ushura's head. It should still affect all tentacles and adds active at the same time. Ushura's adds when returned to the heads up phase now spawns correctly. Completing the raid on all tiers will reward players with a title. An issue that caused players to sometimes get stuck in combat has been fixed. The effect to defeat the shades of Belondor is defeated is no longer a D&T string table and is now called Belondor's Guilt. A boat being destroyed by Ushuru's tentacles now displays a notification. The automatic aggro range of enemies in the iron stairwell has been removed. And messages that appear in the instance now also appear in the chat log. As for the Spring Festival, we have corrected an issue with Bulwar's challenge that could cause the challenge to improperly fail. And the travel route from Rakatab to Jacques Final now ends at its correct destination. The Umbar mission, protecting the sea lanes, now works as intended and has been reopened. And yes, I have run it since then, thank you. And an issue preventing the Delving Mala's explosive devastation 1 and 2 from being cleansed has now been fixed. Also, there is a known issue that players completing Tier 1 difficulty of the Depths of Makta Corvo are not receiving their proper The Shadow Chaser title reward. This title will be retroactively rewarded to players who have completed this instance in a future game update. And perhaps that's something that they are planning to be included in an update that they're expecting to happen next week, which would be update 39.1.1. They said is a bug fix update, so there won't be any major changes in that particular update. And that's it for our release notes for update 39.1. Any questions?
Nope, just still happy about the Mariners. Any suffering that can be brought to that class, I feel in general benefits captains and Middle Earth.
Okay, well, now it's unclear to me whether the Mariners they spoke of there were Mariner player characters, or were they talking about the Mariner NPCs that are in that particular battle?
Oh, they're probably talking about the NPCs.
I guess we'll find out at some
But
point.
they're all Mariners, aren't they?
So the 8 boss really was damaging the NPCs as well then?
That's what it sounds like.
Because that was one of the things that we were wondering. We're like, it kind of looks like maybe the 8 boss is helping you take the Mariners down. Vengeful Mariners, but...
Yeah, I have a feeling he's one of those bosses that doesn't care about the ads. It's sort of like how in Battle of the Way of Smiths, where the boss there has these goblins that accompany him, and he gets a buff for killing the goblins. So, yeah, so in other words, if you're slow in killing the goblins, he kills them himself and gets a buff for doing it. So yes, it's not. It wouldn't be the first case where we had some sort of enemy just say, "Oh, okay, let's kill them."
Okay. That surprised me that was actually what's happening.
All right. Next, we have an announcement that Tier 3 of the new raid is now available. And I am sure that, Krister, you have finished Tier 1 and 2 already, so you can get ready to go into the Tier 3?
No, but we are. I mean, that is definitely some kind of goal.
Okay, a goal.
Achievable? Who knows?
All right, we'll see. And also, this Wednesday, March 27th, Scenario is going to take us on a little casual stroll through Ithilien and Osgiliath. And that will be... Yeah, I don't know whether that is going to be pre-battle or post-battle. I guess we'll find out. So let's head into the store sales. Cinders, what's on sale this week?
Well, this is one of my absolute most favorite sales. Before I bought all of it. It is a store, carry, and share. Get 30% off vault storage and shared storage inventory slots now through March 28th. Unfortunately, I have maxed all of those. You also have a weekly coupon for free summon Skirmish Soldier times 5. The coupon code is Soldier, SOLDIER, now through March 28th. So,
Whee!
Definitely a good store sale.
Yes. As for the weekly coupon, the summon Skirmish Soldier thing, that's the in-combat summon you have to use inside skirmishes. I don't think I've ever successfully used one of those things because it's like, how often do I want to summon my Skirmish Soldier while I'm in the middle of combat? Or usually I'm too frantic in order to look for the crazy thing.
Right.
Or you think about it afterwards.
Or I think about
I could have deployed.
Yeah, that's another one. Then let's head into our site. Well, it's not technically site news, but let's call this our community news. I think it's probably a better name for this because on Crick Hollow, if you ever find yourself there, they are having on. Oh, that I really should have read the date before I started this segment. Never mind. It's already over. Okay.
It's got super cute. It has
Okay, yeah.
super cute bunnies in the picture.
Yes, okay. Even though, yes, it was on the metal stage today in Bywater, but it has the March Hare Bunny Fair. But yes, of course, it is already done, and it had a bunch of cute bunnies on the poster, giving the list of the bands that are playing there. Oh, actually, let's see. Now, theoretically, though, there is still an hour and a half left for this. So if you're listening live,
If you're listening live, you can totally go, Pine Leaf.
oh well. All right, we'll give it a 0 out of 10 for good thinking. So let's go to our weekend gaming. Krister, what do you have?
Well, last night we had a stupendously awesome depth run, and we'd had a couple people that had been doing the run, and so they had the tactics worked out. We were talking about the fact that the head wasn't being buffed anymore, which was awesome, and so we basically almost finished it. We were down to the final 25% of the boss. And the one mistake we made was part of the tactic is to clear the sturdy tentacles after every kind of phase because they accumulate buffs and get more and more nasty as a result of that. And so in the last 25%, we didn't clear those sturdy tentacles, and those ended up being the factor that got us. So we're confident if we just followed what we'd been doing the entire time up to that point, and we had hit those sturdy tentacles right after the phase, that we would have actually got it. So unfortunately just ran into, it was too late to do another attempt last night. However, but everybody was supercharged, and we ended on a very positive note. So that was really cool. And I've been, my old computer's graphics card finally destroyed itself in a bizarre hail of graphics disaster. It was pretty impressive. I wish I could have recorded it, but anyways, I had another machine, a newer machine ready to go. So I've been bringing that up this week, and going from a 1080 to a 3090 has been a pretty incredible leap in terms of graphics. So that's been pretty fun. And my friends convinced me to try there's a new game called Helldivers 2, which is kind of a co-op squad-based combat game, and that's been pretty fun. And then I've been doing a lot on my Photoshop. And so that was my week. Cinders, what were you up to?
Well, I ran Isle of Storms. So after last week saying, oh, I don't think I'm going to do that, I did end up running Isle of Storms with another Guardian. And it took us an hour and a half to complete because two Guardians really don't do very much damage. But we did eventually make it through the whole thing and survive to the end, even though I'm still not sold on the idea of fighting the Rock. But we both had to be blue line to even have a chance of getting through there in the duo mode. And then I tried it again with Pine Leaf later on that day, and it did not go well either. We didn't make it past the first boss. So, with a couple of different character combinations. So I don't know how that works for everybody else, but it was not working for us.
Yeah, these easy mode story level instances that are impossible to complete. Yes.
Yeah, let's say because we tried it with your Runekeeper and my Guardian, and then we tried it with the Lore Master and my Guardian, and it did not work.
Yeah.
So then I spent the rest of the week when I was in game Cardinal and questing with Pine Leaf, and we have now finished all of the deeds except the Trophy Hunter. So we have a third deed steed. And And then I realized today that I'm not going to be playing enough to earn the spring leaves that I want to get all the cool stuff. So I caved and I spent Mithril on the shinies with 0 regrets. So, I'm a very happy camper at the moment. Finally, how about you?
All right, we'll begin with my warden, who completed chapter 8 of the Song of Waves and Winds, which is the chapter that opened up last week. So I'm up to date on that. And with the warden, that's a bit of a relief because my warden was one who was going through it slowly so that I could do the videos using it. So I was wondering, how long is it going to take me to get up to date on this? Well, it looks like I got finally finished up chapter 7, I think either last week or early this week, and now finished up chapter 8. So I'm up to date there. So that means I guess I need to go into the city of Umbar and do all sorts of quests all throughout the area that I've been ignoring so far. Then on my Mariner, I attempted to raid Mazog's stronghold at Zabagathal, but the results for some reason were not all that fine. So that was a complete failure. And then my Runekeeper finally joined the Umbar Jewelers Guild. That means, yes, I finally got away through all the rest of the levels of Jewelers Guild, and now finally my first quest there for Umbar. So we'll see whether or not I can make any decent jewelry along the time. And that's it for my week in LOTRO. If you'd like to send us an email, you can send it to podcast@LotroPlayers.com. The Players Alliance has 2 shows every single week. On Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, we record LOTRO Players News, and we record DDO Players News when Drac is available. And you can join us live for our shows at LoTroPlayers.com/live. And that is all for tonight then. This is Pilot Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.